Every man wants to be unforgettable in bed, but very few understand it's not about technique, it's about presence. And nothing gives you more presence than Stoic mastery. Most men focus on performance, on tricks, on lasting longer. But a Stoic man knows true intimacy isn't about what you do, it's about who you are while doing it. She doesn't remember the move, she remembers the energy, the calm dominance, the quiet confidence. The way you held space for her without losing your center. She won't remember how many minutes it lasted, she won't remember the rhythm, but she will remember how safe she felt lying there, how deeply she was seen, not just as a body, but as a woman. She'll remember the stillness in your breath, the way you held her after, because what stays with her isn't the position, it's the presence. Because in the bedroom, as in life, power comes from composure, from restraint, from knowing exactly when to take the lead and when to let her rise. In this video, we're not just talking about physical positions. We're talking about mental positioning, the way a true Stoic man commands the moment with strength, control, and deep emotional intelligence. The kind of man she doesn't forget, even years later. If you're ready to upgrade not just your technique, but your entire presence as a man, you're in the right place. Subscribe to Stoic Spirit now and join thousands of men becoming warriors of inner mastery, not just in battle, but in the bedroom. Part 1. The Philosophy of Intimate Power. Before you master her body, you must master your own. In today's world, most men rush into intimacy like it's a performance, racing to impress, prove, or dominate. But a Stoic man enters differently. He doesn't chase results, he creates an environment, a sacred space. One where a woman feels safe enough to surrender and challenged enough to stay engaged. The truth is, you don't need more moves. You need more mastery. Presence is your power. Calm is your seduction. Self-control is your advantage. A man who's emotionally unshakable and physically grounded creates an experience that no woman forgets, because it isn't just physical, it's spiritual. When you understand this, sex stops being a transaction and becomes a transformation. You're not just touching her body, you're awakening something deeper inside her. Her femininity, her trust, her softness. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In intimacy, this is your code. Don't copy what every other man does. Don't rush, don't chase ego. Be unlike the ones before you. Be deeper, be stiller, be more attuned. In this video, we reveal 5 positions, not just physical postures, but energetic dynamic that when used with Stoic presence, will elevate your intimacy to something sacred and unforgettable. Part 2. The Position of Control. Spooning with Purpose. At first glance, spooning looks soft, gentle, even passive. But done with presence, it becomes the most primal expression of masculine control. Why? Because in this position, your body wraps around hers. She's encased by your warmth, your frame, your rhythm. You guide the movement, you set the pace. And most importantly, you protect her from behind while still leading the dance. This position allows for full body connection. You feel her breath, hear her moans, sense her tension and release. Your hands are free to explore. Her hips, her neck, her breasts, her thighs. You're not just inside her body, you're inside her energy field. The deeper layer? This position activates her instinct to trust, to lean back, to let go. When you spoon with intention, you're not just having sex, you're speaking to her nervous system. You're telling her, "I've got you, I'm here, you can relax now." And in that surrender, she blooms. Stoic tip: don't rush. Match her breath, sync your exhale with hers. Maintain slow, deliberate movements. Let her feel your calm. That's what makes her melt. Not chaos, but your command of the moment. Not your words, but the energy of your leadership. This is the first key, and once you master it, the rest begins to unlock itself. Part 3. The Position of Dominance, the Warrior's Stance, Doggy Style. Let's not sugarcoat it. This is where raw masculinity meets refined awareness. Doggy style is often misunderstood as simply rough or animalistic. But when you strip away the cliches and bring Stoic presence into the frame, it becomes something far more powerful. This position is where your masculine edge takes the lead. You're behind her. Not just physically, but energetically. You're guiding the tempo, controlling the angle, adjusting the depth. Every motion becomes deliberate. Every touch is an act of intention. From this position, you see everything. How her back arches, how her breath changes, how her hands grip the sheets. You read her without her saying a word. And that's what separates the average man from the Stoic warrior. The ability to listen without hearing, to sense without asking. Doggy style gives her permission to release her primal side, something most women deeply desire but rarely feel safe enough to express. This position offers that outlet. It tells her, you don't have to be polite now. You're allowed to let go. And here's what most men miss. Dominance isn't just about what you do, it's about what you allow her to become. In this case, wild, uninhibited, fully alive in her feminine chaos. Modern study insight. According to surveys from sexologists in the US and UK, this is the most preferred position among women aged 35 to 44. Why? Because it lets her feel deeply penetrated and completely surrendered while still having room to move and express. Stoic tip, stay aware. Don't get lost in your own ego. Watch how her body responds to pressure and rhythm. Adjust in real time. The Stoic man dominates not with force, but with calibrated precision. He's in control, not because he's aggressive, but because he's present. You are the unshakable rock. She is the wild ocean. Let her crash against you. If you're finding real value in this video so far, if it's helping you see intimacy in a new, more powerful light, then take a moment to hit the subscribe button. Your support helps us keep creating meaningful, high-quality content like this. Thank you for being part of the Stoic spirit journey. Part 4. The position of closeness. Missionary with alignment technique. Most men hear missionary and yawn. They think it's basic, vanilla, routine. But that's because they've never been taught the real version, the one that transforms this simple position into a portal for emotional, physical, and even spiritual fusion. In this version, she keeps her legs together while you position yours apart. Why? Because this alignment changes everything. It adds pressure, depth, and friction in all the right places. Your hips are angled diagonally, stimulating both the G-spot and clitoris at once, without needing to overexert or overthink. But the real power of this position isn't the mechanics, it's the connection. Eye contact is unlocked. You can see her. She can see you. Breathing syncs, foreheads touch, heartbeats align, and suddenly it's not sex anymore. It's something deeper. This position lets you lead, but from a place of gentleness and attunement. You're not towering over her. You're meeting her, chest to chest, soul to soul. In that moment, you're not just a man, you're her anchor. Bonus insight. According to sexology experts, missionary, when done with this alignment variation, is one of the best positions for female orgasm. The direct clitoral stimulation combined with a sense of safety and emotional closeness makes it especially effective for women who typically struggle with climax. Stoic tip: don't look away. Don't lose yourself in lust. Keep your gaze steady. Hold her face, move slowly. Speak to her nervous system with every breath. You are not just penetrating her body, you're imprinting your presence into her memory. Be the stillness in her chaos. Let your eye contact say, I see you, I'm not going anywhere. That kind of presence, it stays with her long after the moment ends. Part 5. The position of surrender. The Cougar. Woman on top. Now it's her turn to lead, and that requires something most men lack: emotional security. Many men subconsciously fear this position, not because it's physically demanding, but because they're no longer in control. They have to surrender, and surrender to the insecure man feels like weakness. But here's the paradox. The more secure you are in your masculinity, the more freely you can let her rise. The Cougar, where the woman is on top, gives her control over speed, rhythm, and depth. She chooses the angle, she determines the friction, she gets to ride her pleasure instead of being ridden by expectation. Meanwhile, you remain still, not passive but present. You place your hands on her hips, you explore her body with reverence, you guide her subtly while letting her express fully. This is the position where a woman gets to feel her power, and you, like a king, witness her ascension without insecurity or ego. You hold her with pride, not possession. You let her move, not because you lack strength, but because you're grounded enough not to compete. Most women rarely get to experience this kind of leadership. The man who holds space while they lead, who supports without taking over. That's rare, that's magnetic. And if she feels safe enough to lose herself in this moment, she will come back to you again and again. Because few men ever made her feel that free. Stoic insight. Letting go of control doesn't make you less of a man. It makes you more magnetic. The Stoic doesn't fear surrender. He chooses when to yield, and in doing so, proves his unshakable center. This is power in its most paradoxical form, the ability to step back without stepping down. Part 6. The position of mastery, the screw. This is the hidden gem, the position most men overlook because it looks simple until they understand its deeper impact. In the screw position, her legs are stretched upward, crossed at the ankles. You hold her by the ankles, not to restrain, but to anchor. You lead the motion, slow, deep, deliberate. This setup creates maximum internal stimulation while keeping her body open and exposed. She's vulnerable, but in your hands, that vulnerability becomes an invitation for trust. Here, you are in full control. But that doesn't mean you go faster or harder. It means you move with discipline, like a sculptor shaping sensation. Every thrust is intentional. Every pause is meaningful. You're not chasing release. You're curating an experience she'll never forget. Most men rush. They perform. But the Stoic man is a master of pacing. He reads her subtle cues. The way her breath catches, her thighs tremble, her lips part. He notices what others miss, and because of that, he delivers what others never could. This position also heightens her pleasure while giving you full access to her body, her sounds, her expressions. And done right, it often leads to the most intense synchronized orgasms. But be careful. Don't let this control feed your ego. That's not mastery. That's addiction to dominance. Stoic commandment. Mastery is not about doing more. It's about doing with meaning. So move with rhythm. Breathe with her. Feel the moment, not just with your body, but with your awareness of hers. Presence over performance. Awareness over aggression. Depth over drama. That's the Stoic way. Here's a powerful bonus for you. Understanding her weak points is power. Every woman is wired differently. Some are highly responsive to touch on their neck, others to the small of the back, the thighs, the ears, the hips, or the mental anticipation before the first touch ever happens. There's no universal map, only unique terrain. And a Stoic man knows how to navigate without needing a GPS. He doesn't demand instructions. He doesn't beg for feedback. He studies. He pays attention. He notices how her breath shifts when his hand grazes her waist. He sees the way her eyes close just a little longer when he kisses her neck. He tracks the subtle tension in her body when she's close, and the way it melts when he gets it right. That is the art of masculine intuition. Not guessing, but observing. Not asking her to guide you, but leading her gently toward surrender through your own developed awareness. And here's what most men never understand. Knowing her weak points isn't just about physical stimulation, it's about emotional safety. When she feels seen, understood, and adored, not as a fantasy but as a real complex woman, her walls come down. And that's when true intimacy begins. As the Stoics taught us, awareness is power. And in the bedroom, that awareness becomes alchemy. You turn breath into connection, touch into trust, stillness into heat. A man who knows how to touch her soul will always be remembered more than the one who touched her body. Let that be your guiding principle, because any man can create pleasure, but it takes a master to create meaning. Communication builds trust, presence builds desire, discipline builds legacy. Most men chase pleasure like boys, but the Stoic man turns sex into legacy-building energy, something that enhances both his woman and himself. Let's end with something that stays with you. The Stoic bedroom code. A real man doesn't chase. He doesn't perform tricks. He doesn't need applause. He builds, he observes, he leads. And when the lights go out, he doesn't perform. He embodies. Because sex to the Stoic man is not just physical, it's philosophical. It's the space where ego dies and truth is revealed. There's nowhere to hide when you're naked in front of another soul. And that's why it matters who you are in those moments, more than what you do. If you show up desperate, disconnected, or ego-driven, no position will save you. But if you show up centered, calm, and grounded in self-mastery, even the simplest touch becomes unforgettable. Sex is not a game. It's not a performance. It's a mirror, a reflection of how you show up in life, rushed or intentional, reactive or present, insecure or powerful. The Stoic bedroom code is simple. Be still, be strong, be aware. Let your woman feel your calm, your control, your care. Not as an act, but as an extension of who you truly are. And remember this, the way you love in silence, the way you breathe with purpose, the way you guide without forcing, that's what makes you unforgettable. That's what makes you a Stoic lover. If this message resonated with you, don't just click away. Like this video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Stoic Spirit, because here, we don't just talk about self-mastery, we embody it. Together, we're building a community, a brotherhood, of men who rise above cheap tricks and quick fixes. Men who bring strength not only to the boardroom or the battlefield, but into the quiet, sacred space of intimacy. Let's lead not just with our muscles or words, but with our presence, with our stillness, and with the kind of awareness that leaves a legacy in every soul we touch. This is Stoic Spirit, and we're just getting started.